Hi, it's Susanna, and can you believe it's nearly 2019? Just blows me away. I was wondering how you feel about 2018, this year, as it comes to a near close. And how are you feeling about 2019? Are you ready to set some goals? I have completed a process of reflection and goal setting. And I really wanted to share with you four things that I took from that I think can really help. I know that some people don't love setting goals and they think, what's the point of making a resolution or setting a goal? Because, you know, it's so stereotypical that we'll set one and then fail. But there's also this really powerful energy at the moment, this opportunity to complete the year and to start fresh. And I think that it's really, really valuable. And I was feeling really called to do it. So I felt so grateful when Verve Super sent this workbook that I could focus and direct my attention and do it the way that they had set out. So I didn't have to think about how to do it. I just could follow that process. And I'll link that below in case you're interested in it. But as we move into that, I want to give you 4 tips to help you so that you can get the most out of that process and do it in a way that is really loving to yourself. So the first tip is to take the time to reflect. I think that it's really important before we look to the future that we just take a little bit of time to look to the past. Not every day, but definitely this time of year, it seems like it's just a really useful thing to do. We might not have time every day, but just to look at the year that was, 365 days. What did you do with them? What worked? What are you feeling good about? What didn't work? What are you not feeling good about? Over the course of the year, what brought you joy? What drained your energy? I love that question. What drained your energy? And sometimes we learn that through reflection. We don't notice in the moment what's happening, and then we look back and go, wow. So that's my first tip, is to take the time to reflect before you set goals. My second tip is about compassion for yourself. So I know for myself personally, I was feeling really gosh, I was uncomfortable with aspects of 2018. And I either hadn't had time to think about them and what they meant to me, or I was still sort of processing. And taking the time to reflect and just be emotionally honest with myself about how I felt, what worked, what didn't, really, really, really helped me. But to do that in a way that was compassionate towards myself. And the compassion towards self-peace for me is really about, it's about acknowledging that I'm okay as I am. I don't need to change. Everything that I've done, I've been doing the best I can, And even though I know there's times when I didn't do the best I could, like I could have done better, but I did what I could. If that makes sense? Like, even though we can push ourselves sometimes, is that always in our best interest or in the best interest of the people around us? And even if it was, it doesn't serve any purpose now to be hard on ourselves about it. So let's look at how we can be compassionate about where we've come from. And where we've been. So let's look at how we can be compassionate about where we have come from and where we've been in the last 12 months. So the next tip is about focusing down on a few key areas. So that rather than trying to set goals for all areas of life, just looking at a few key areas. I picked 3. I picked health, creativity, and an income goal. And again, I want to go back to this compassion piece around setting money goals, because We can be so hard on ourselves about the money we earned or didn't earn, about the money we spent or didn't spend, about what we saved or didn't save, or how we managed it. And I think that it's really important to take the opportunity just to learn, just to acknowledge that maybe we didn't do everything as perfectly as we could have, but we are perfect. We are perfect, and we can learn from that, and we can choose something different. There was also another thing that was coming up for me, and I don't know if this is common, so I just thought I'd share it, is that as I was setting my goals in a few key areas, I was also thinking about, gosh, these goals are like I had this inner critic that was going, gosh, these goals are like really pathetic. Like, I know for me, it's a bit of a stretch and it's going to take effort to achieve these goals. And yet I had this voice inside of me that was saying, you're pathetic. That's easy. And even if you accomplish that, you still kind of suck. And I was like, whoa, what's that inner critic? Like, where is that coming from? And it was just really nice to acknowledge it and hear it, but go, you know what? No. Because who am I comparing myself to that I think that that's pathetic? And what lack of compassion am I having for myself that I'm saying you're pathetic? Like, oh my, no. That's not true. And so the third thing is focusing on a few key areas and looking at what's realistic for you in those areas, and jumping back to compassion as many times as you need to see that your goals are your goals and you're not in a race against anyone else. So the fourth tip is to have a way of having real clear clarity around whether or not you've achieved that goal. So for me, I've set my goals, I've broken them down weekly in terms of activities. So my health goal, I have an activity way of tracking. My creativity goal, I'll have a way of tracking. And of course, my income goal, I can track it in numbers. Arguably one of the easiest goals because I can just see whether I earn that money or not. So I want to encourage you to look at how you can make your goals trackable and simply trackable. I really like the idea that I've learned about coloring in. So for example, if I'm going to do something twice a week for the next 26 weeks, because I've actually broken down, even though it's 2019 goals, I very much broke mine down for the next 6 months. And I've scheduled in to reflect again in March, because I think at least quarterly is a good sort of measurement, but I might not change my goals. I might just check in and see how I've been going with them. But definitely looking at a way to track. So 2 activities a week, 26 weeks, I'd have 52 sort of spaces and I could color them in as I go. And with my income goal, I could, base it on a dollar value and sort of color that in as I go and to visually see my goals coming to life and to color. And I love that idea. And I've seen that in different places, but I definitely want to acknowledge the 100 Days of Color program, which is just a beautiful way of focusing for 100 days. I'm doing it for 6 months, but you could do it too. That's one of the places that I got the idea from. And I actually want to add in 2 bonus tips. And one of those is around accountability. Is there someone in your life who you can check in weekly, daily, monthly? Monthly's probably a little bit too irregular, but weekly or daily, and let them know, hey, I did my thing. And they can tell you, because having that accountability actually really helps us breed success. And I'm pointing 1 finger at you, 3 back at me, because I haven't gotten it yet for these new goals, but that's something on my radar. And the other bonus tip was, I almost forgot, and this is the one that we always tend to forget, and that's celebration. How am I going to celebrate my goal? How are you going to celebrate reaching your goals? One of the ideas I had this year was for my health goal, if I do my health activities for 4 weeks straight, to honor myself, to reward myself, and to celebrate with a massage. So I thought that was a really nice idea. So how can you celebrate your goals? And I was thinking, because I don't want to celebrate with like food, because that would be, and I don't want to celebrate with something that's necessarily really expensive. So for me, getting a massage felt like a really good way of rewarding myself, because my health goal is all around working out. So if I'm going to get like sore at the workouts, then it'd be great to reward myself with a massage. So I just want to really encourage you to do this. If you have an hour, do it alone, do it with a friend. Just take the time to reflect. Take a bit of an audit of where you're at. Do it with compassion. And just set a few goals in a few key areas, ones that inspire you and are achievable and you feel good about. Because we should feel good about our goals. We should feel like we're looking forward to doing them. That's the right, most useful energy to be coming from. And then set up a way to track your progress with clarity, have some accountability, and make sure you celebrate. So until next time, keep popping.